Welcome to Wonderslate. Subscribe to our Telegram channel given in the description to updates and study materials. Topic for today's quiz is breathing and exchange of gases. Question number 1. Which of these is the sum of the other three? Option A. Tidal volume. Option B. Expiratory reserve volume. Option C. Vital capacity. Option D. Inspiratory reserve volume. The correct answer is option C. Vital capacity. Vital capacity is the maximum volume of air a person can inspire after a forced expiration or the maximum volume of air a person can breathe out after a forced inspiration. IRV plus TV plus CRV. It sums to around 4,700 milliliters. Question number 2. What is the opening between the vocal folds in the larynx called? Option A. Trachea. Option B. Epiglottis. Option C. Laryngopharynx. Option D. Glottis. The correct answer is option D. Glottis. Trachea is commonly called the windpipe. The glottis is the opening between the vocal folds in the larynx, sound box. During swallowing, a thin elastic cartilaginous flap called epiglottis covers the glottis to prevent the entry of food into the larynx. Question number 3. The RBC count increases after an individual spends significant time at higher altitude because Option A. Temperature is lower at higher altitudes. Option B. Basal metabolic rate is lower at higher altitudes. Option C. Atmospheric PO2 is higher at higher altitudes. Option D. Atmospheric PO2 is lower at higher altitudes. The correct answer is option D. Atmospheric PO2 is lower at higher altitudes. In higher altitudes, the air pressure is lower, meaning that there are fewer molecules of oxygen present in the air. The body acclimatizes to this in various ways, a major one of which is by increasing the number of red blood cells. This helps in distributing the available oxygen faster and more efficiently. Question number 4. Which of the following statements is incorrect? Option A. The principle of countercurrent flow facilitates efficient respiration in gills of fishes. Option B. Amoeba gets oxygen through simple diffusion across their cell membrane from the surrounding water. Option C. Elephants snorkel when underwater. Option D. Whales and dolphins do not have lungs. The correct answer is option D. Whales and dolphins do not have lungs. Whales and dolphins, like all other mammals, have lungs. Unlike fish, these marine mammals are not equipped with gills, which fish and other aquatic animals use to extract oxygen from water. Instead, whales and dolphins need to rise to the surface of the water to inhale and exhale oxygen through their blowholes, structures present instead of a nose. These blowholes are surrounded by muscles that keep the hole closed when the whale or dolphin is underwater and open it when the animal is at the surface and needs to breathe. Question number 5. The lungs are covered by a two-layered membrane called the Option A. Pleura. Option B. Diaphragm. Option C. Respiratory membrane. Option D. Mediastinum. The correct answer is option A. Pleura. The pleural membrane is thin, moist, slippery and has two layers. The outer layer, called the parietal pleura, is attached to the inside of the rib cage and the diaphragm, while the inner layer, called the visceral pleura, covers the lungs. The space between these layers, called the pleural cavity, is fluid-filled, and thus provides cushioning and lubrication to the lungs. Question number 6. Asthma is due to Option A. Reduced elasticity of lungs. Option B. Degradation of alveolar wall. Option C. Inflammation of bronchioles. Option D. Damage in diaphragm. The correct answer is option C. Inflammation of bronchioles. Asthma is a respiratory condition caused by an inflammation in the bronchi and bronchioles, and marked by attacks of spasm in the bronchi of the lungs, causing difficulty in breathing. It is usually connected to an allergic reaction or other forms of hypersensitivity. Question number 7. The respiratory center in the brain is stimulated by CO2. Option A. CO2 concentration in venous blood. Option B. O2 concentration in arterial blood. Option C. CO2 concentration in arterial blood. Option D. O2 concentration in venous blood. The correct answer is option A. CO2 concentration in venous blood. The body's respiratory center in the medulla is normally stimulated by an increased concentration of carbon dioxide, and to a lesser extent, by decreased levels of oxygen in arterial blood. Stimulation of the respiratory center causes an increase in the rate and depth of breathing, thus blowing off excess carbon dioxide and reducing blood acidity. Question number 8. Gas is exchanged in the alveoli by a process of underscore. Option A. Simple diffusion. Option B. Active transport. Option C. Facilitated diffusion. Option D. Filtration. The correct answer is option A. Simple diffusion. Gas exchange between the alveoli and blood capillaries occurs by simple diffusion. This results from the gradient created as a result of the difference in the concentration of the respiratory gases in the alveoli and capillaries. Question number 9. Which of the following provide the greatest surface area for gas exchange? Option A. Glottis. Option B. Alveoli. Option C. Pharynx. Option D. Bronchioles. The correct answer is option B. Alveoli. A pair of human lungs typically consists of about 700 million alveoli, which are the basic units of respiration, and together produce about 70 square meters of surface area. Question number 10. Which of the following are functions of components of the respiratory system? Option A. Warming and moistening of inhaled air. Option B. Delivering oxygen to and removing carbon dioxide from the blood. Option C. Sound production by the vibration of vocal cords. Option D. All of them. The correct answer is option D. All of them. The respiratory system consists of the following structures: nose, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, lungs. These structures collectively perform the following functions: warming and moistening of inhaled air, delivering oxygen to and removing carbon dioxide from the blood, sound production by the vibration of vocal cords. Question number 11. The amount of air that enters the lungs during normal, restful breathing is called the underscore. Option A. Vital capacity. Option B. Tidal volume. Option C. Total lung capacity. Option D. Expiratory reserve volume. The correct answer is option B. Tidal volume. The volume of air inspired enters the lungs, or expired leaves the lungs during normal respiration is called tidal volume, which is usually around 500 milliliters. Question number 12. Inner surface of the bronchi and bronchioles is lined by option A. Cubical epithelium. Option B. Columnar epithelium. Option C. Squamous epithelium. Option D. Ciliated epithelium. The correct answer is option D. Ciliated epithelium. The ciliated epithelium lining the trachea, bronchi and bronchioles helps filter the air and trap any fine dust particles or other solid contaminants. Question number 13. Dissociation curve shifts to the right when option A. Partial pressure of CO2 decreases. Option B. Partial pressure of CO2 increases. Option C. Partial pressure of O2 decreases. Option D. pH of blood increases. The correct answer is option B. Partial pressure of CO2 increases. Factors that affect the standard dissociation curve. The strength with which oxygen binds to hemoglobin is affected by several factors. These factors shift or reshape the oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve. A rightward shift indicates that the hemoglobin under study has a decreased affinity for oxygen. Question number 14. The primary muscle of inspiration which forms the floor of the thoracic cavity is underscore. Option A. Intercostals. Option B. Sternum. Option C. Ventricle. Option D. Diaphragm. The correct answer is option D. Diaphragm. The diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscular partition separating the thorax from the abdomen in mammals. It plays a major role in breathing, as its contraction increases the volume of the thorax and results in inspiration. When this muscle relaxes, the thoracic volume returns to normal, causing expiration. Question number 15. Which of the disorders below is characterized by destruction of the walls of the alveoli producing abnormally large air spaces that remain filled with air during exhalation? Option A. Pneumonia. Option B. Tuberculosis. Option C. Emphysema. Option D. Coryza. The correct answer is option C. Emphysema. Emphysema is a chronic lung disease caused by damage to the alveoli, the tiny air sacs in the lung where the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place. With emphysema, damage to the alveoli results in air becoming trapped, causing them to expand and rupture. This condition is most common among smokers, while it could also arise due to genetic factors or other reasons. Question number 16. The breathing center in the brain responds to changes in the option A. Oxygen concentration in blood. Option B. Bicarbonate ion concentration in lymph. Option C. Carbon dioxide concentration in blood. Option D. Acetyl-CoA in mitochondria. The correct answer is option C. Carbon dioxide concentration in blood. When there is an increase in carbon dioxide in the blood, it diffuses into the cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, and forms H+ ions and HCO3- ions. This increase in H+ ions in the CSF decreases the pH, which gets detected by the central chemoreceptors, which then stimulate the inspiratory center in the brain to increase the respiratory rate. Question number 17. Which of the choices below is not a functional process performed by the respiratory system? Option A. Pulmonary ventilation. Option B. Transport of respiratory gases. Option C. External respiration. Option D. Pulmonary respiration. The correct answer is option B. Transport of respiratory gases. The transport of respiratory gases is one of the main functions of the circulatory system. Without blood, the related capillaries, vessels and the heart, transport of gases cannot happen in the body. Question number 18. A unique feature common to the alveoli of lungs and the villi of the intestine is that both option A. have ciliated columnar epithelium. Option B. are suited for diffusion of gases. Option C. Provide a large surface area. Option D. Have a rich supply of blood vessels and lymph ducts. The correct answer is Option C. Provide a large surface area. Alveoli are tiny, circular air sacs which are important because they significantly increase the respiratory surface area of the lungs. Similarly, in the intestine, the alveoli greatly increase the surface area for absorption of nutrients. Due to the many walled surfaces of the alveoli, the lungs of a single person have a surface area that is approximately the size of a tennis court. Question number 19. The most powerful respiratory stimulus for breathing in a healthy person is Option A. Loss of oxygen in tissues. Option B. Increase of carbon dioxide in tissues. Option C. pH, acidosis. Option D. pH, alkalosis. The correct answer is Option B. Increase of carbon dioxide in tissues. An increase in the accumulation of carbon dioxide in the tissues means less availability of oxygen for cellular respiration. This serves as a powerful stimulus for breathing. Question number 20. Which of the following is true about the olfactory system? Option A. The olfactory epithelium is present inside our eyes. Option B. The olfactory bulbs are a pair of swellings that are located inside the mouth. Option C. The olfactory bulb is a relay center for the information regarding a taste. Option D. The olfactory epithelium has a mucus layer so only water-soluble odor molecules will pass through. The correct answer is Option D. The olfactory epithelium has a mucus layer so only water-soluble odor molecules will pass through. The olfactory epithelium is involved in the first step of the sense of smell. It has a mucus layer covering the chemoreceptors. This mucus layer makes sure that only water-soluble odor molecules are able to pass through it easily and activate the chemoreceptors that are involved in the sensation of smell. Thank you for watching the video. If you'd like practice this quiz, then download the Wonderslate app now. Link in the description below. If you have any suggestion for us, feel free to leave comments. If you liked the video and want to see more of it, hit the thumbs up and don't forget to click on subscribe button to get more updates of the future videos.